I got a little confused when I recorded the VR part of this video about the actual dimensions of the space. So I've got this bullet target pattern on the floor, and what we see immediately here is that the center green zone is 2 meters across. So two blocks, 2 blocks on the grid, and then the yellow zone is 3 meters across because it's 1.5 is the radius. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then the red zone is 4 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you see the blue guardian appear right on the edge of this bullseye pattern, what I'm basically saying is that my living room, my fairly dedicated VR space in my living room, is 4 meters across.
Okay, so let me get my bearings here. This is maybe a fairly basic insight, but in a game where you're not teleporting, where you're physically moving around the space, you can easily draw the user beyond their guardian. I'm hitting a wall here, like I'm literally running into a wall. If I had put a boxing target at that distance, so this is a 2 meter circle. We've got, I think that's 2.5. So it's 1 meter from the centers, right? 1 meter, and then another meter. So this is a 2 meter. This is a 2 meter. Like you can see my play space. It's essentially 2 meters. But yeah, the insight is basically like if I'm boxing in here, right, and I'm hitting targets, and I want to move the user around, to rotate them or to bring them slightly off center, there are limits to that, right? They're not teleporting in a fitness game. They're running up against the edge of their space. So really, and this is a reasonably large guardian space. Like this is my entire living room. There's kind of no other furniture in here. And you won't a priori know. Like I don't think there might be a modern API for inquiring about the size of the play space, but in traditional OpenXR, like this is maybe a bunk assertion, but I don't think you actually can really know the limits of the user's guardian. So there's kind of a lowest common denominator problem here, which is, somebody who moves their couch back a couple of feet and moves the coffee table, and the TV's kind of like right here, and like they may only have this yellow zone, right? So you can't really design translational movement all that effectively in an exer-game, like unless you basically say, look, you can't play this game without a whatever that is. Like this is 2 meters and that's another meter, so 3 meter play space. Because if I try to strike this target, right, and I miss it, I'm a little off, I'm hitting a wall there. My fist is hitting a wall. Maybe that's kind of a stupid basic assertion or a stupid basic insight, but my inclination in fitness games is really to enable, I'm bouncing around here, enable the translational movement, right? We actually kind of want this kind of graphic on the floor. Like my complaint about Supernatural is it's so anchored to this, central space, and and you're getting rotated, but you're not really using your legs in the sense of like dodging and tumbling and whatever. And you can make an argument that good sport. Like if, especially like this is a little off in the weeds, but if the point of sport is basically for fitness, yes, but also for functional fitness in terms of maybe the military, like you want the game to include, that kind of translation. You want it to use the whole space. So I don't know what the answer is, because I assert that most people's play space, just given the way Supernatural is designed, is not to here. It's like more like in here or something. So you really only have this kind of like one how would you describe that? Like one lunge space, like lunge right, center, lunge left. And even if I lunge left and I put my arm out, I'm at the boundary again. I would love to move. I would love an apartment with just a bigger play space, but I would argue that as a developer, again, this LCD problem, lowest common denominator, who are you developing for if you have to have a 4-meter play space, right? It's awesome. It would be an awesome game. It would be an awesome experimental game. But as far as, wide adoption or publication, it's not that useful of a design.
Jumping in here real quick. One of the persistent sort of existential questions for me is Supernatural is so good. The crop of sort of boxing rhythm games is so good. Where is the room for development? Like, where is the room for experimentation? And I guess one of the things that doing this video has made me think about is, if your play space is one, reasonably large, so this is a 4-meter on the edge play space, and then two, like let's say you asserted that the flooring of the play space was essentially like, tumbling mat, right? It's not hardwood floor, it's not really even carpet, but it's literally, what you would see in a gymnastics gym. I don't know what that actually looks like, but, just like 2, 3, 4-inch thick tumbling mat. So like what kind of game, like you notice as I'm recording this video that I'm actually getting out of breath. And I've been playing a lot of Supernatural VR boxing, which is great for the shoulders. Like I'm really feeling my upper body, but and it's good aerobically, definitely. But I feel like there's a lot of room. Like if you could a priori assert that the play space was more oriented for falling and crawling and burpees and getting up and getting down and dodging under and transitioning from the floor to the standing position, more in like a BJJ or some kind of like martial art tumbling thing. Like what kind of game dynamic would you program for that? Like it wouldn't be boxing at that point. It might be something else, and that actually might be really interesting as far as just like not next generation exer-game, but just like another take on what you can actually do in the exer-gaming space.